What's going on, guys? Arekkz here and welcome back to another video for Doom Eternal. I know a lot of you guys are super excited for this one. It launches on Friday alongside Animal Crossing, the ultimate duo. Of course, Animal Crossing being the super serious, bloodthirsty game and Doom being the family-friendly one. And today I thought we'd do something fun and take a look at all the weapons you get in the campaign. Now, before we go any further, I am going to put a big spoiler warning here. There will be no story spoilers, but if you guys do not want to see all the weapons you get organically throughout the campaign, then now would be the point to step away. If you are still here in the next 10 seconds, then that's obviously because you still want to see this. If you complain about spoilers after this point, that is on you. However, it's worth noting, these are all the weapons that you get organically by playing through the campaign. There is one additional weapon that is hidden behind a locked door, and that's kind of an additional bonus one. Once we get that, I'll of course include that, but for the time being, these are all the weapons you get simply by playing through, and we'll also take a look at the mods, because of course when you get your base weapon, you get to use that for a bit, and then you get to the upgrade stations and you can mod them, and some weapons have, or most weapons, have 2 mods for you to mess around with. So, starting off with the combat shotgun, of course the standard weapon, you start the game with this one, it's a shotgun, does a good deal of damage, and just generally speaking you can always rely on this. You have a couple of mods for this one, the first one being the sticky bombs, where as the name suggests, you fire sticky bombs onto the enemy. This is actually one of the first things that I typically always grab because it's just really useful when you fight some of those enemies, like the kind of big brain with the turret on the top. It's great for taking that out, and just in general, fire it into a crowd, it deals good damage, takes them all out. It's a fun time. However, you can also switch over and get the full auto mod, which turns the shotgun into a fully automatic weapon. Firing shotgun shells very fast, I think you can already see that's a recipe for big damage. Moving on from there to the second weapon, you have the heavy cannon. This is basically your assault rifle, incredibly good weapon, good sustained fire, and just in general, really fun to use. You have a couple of interesting mods for this one. You have the precision bolt, which basically gives you a sniper scope for this one. It's kind of the one that I always initially look over when I first start upgrading because I tend to gravitate towards the second one, but if you want to be able to pick things off from range or from afar, or just in general kind of pick off very particular weak points on monsters or enemies, this is actually pretty good. Alternatively, you have the micro missiles, which basically just gives you a missile barrage from an automatic weapon. Very good, lots of explosions, and also good for just taking down large groups of enemies, and I like this one a lot. This is definitely, whenever I get this weapon, this is the first mod I always choose. Moving on from there to the third weapon, the plasma rifle. This is probably one of my favorite weapons in Doom. This basically fires out continual plasma shots. It's actually really good for taking down some of these shielded enemies later, because of course if they have those energy shields, you can use it to overload those shields, it explodes, and it takes down the defenses and also often kills them in the process. However, you have a couple of mods for this one. You have the heat blast, which allows you to build up excess heat that can then basically be released as a powerful blast from the gun. Alternatively, you have the microwave beam, which basically connects with the target, has this sort of continual plasma beam that not only locks them down, so it stops them from moving, but it then causes them to explode on death. It's on, if you use it on some of the bigger enemies, it takes a little bit longer to actually do that, but you can use this in a crowd. The explosion can of course deal a great deal of damage, and just in general as a means to just stop something from moving, also pretty handy. Next up, moving on from there, we have the rocket launcher. I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly what this is. It's a rocket launcher. It fires rockets. They're massive explosions. They do good damage. It's awesome. Any game that has a rocket launcher, I absolutely love it. However, there are two interesting mods for this one. You have Remote Detonate, which, as the name suggests, allows you to remotely detonate the rockets in flight. So if you don't want to wait till they kind of reach their destination, you could maybe say fly it past an enemy and then detonate it prematurely. Pretty handy. Alternatively, you have Lock-on Burst, which then instead gives you a burst of rockets that lock onto enemy targets, and you can then use that to perhaps hit enemies that are, slightly faster moving, jumping around the place, things like that. After that, we have a fan favorite weapon, the Super Shotgun. Not just the regular combat shotgun, but the Super Shotgun. This one actually just has one base mod, and part of the reason for that is because this weapon, of course, also comes with the grapple, which you can then use to do some pretty brutal kills. You get the general kind of mod improvements from this one, which just improves the power of the Super Shotgun, and this is already a very powerful weapon, to be clear. When you first get this, it's kind of a little bit off the beaten track, but once you get it, it is crazy. It obviously has fewer shells, so you'll be reloading a lot more than you will with the combat shotgun, but then of course the trade-off for that is the damage output. So this one, very cool weapon. Moving on from there, we then have the Ballista. This is a really cool weapon. This looks kind of like something, it almost looks kind of like an alien spaceship in design, but it's basically a charged laser, kind of like a Spartan laser, maybe not quite the same behavior, but that's sort of the comparison that comes to mind. Either way, you charge up these laser blasts, fire them out for pinpoint accuracy. You then have the mod Arbalest, which basically allows you to hold down and charge up the energy projectile that will then embed inside demons and explode. Alternatively, you have the Destroyer Blade, where when you hold up this one instead, you launch an energy blade that will cleave through multiple enemies as it flies. So if you've got a load of trash mobs running towards you, a good way to just cut through big groups of enemies. Next up on the list, we have the chain gun. This is basically your big machine gun. It fires out a lot of bullets and things generally speaking die. Really cool, and a very kind of distinctive Doom-esque weapon. You have a couple of interesting mods for this one. You have the mobile turret, where when you use this, the weapon can actually be put into a mobile turret form, which you can then fire from there. However, it will of course stall if it overheats, so you need to manage that accordingly. Alternatively, you have Energy Shield, where when you hold down the button for this one, you activate an Energy Shield that will actually absorb incoming damage. So if you basically want to walk forward and continue to fire like some kind of madman or like the guy in Scarface, and you want to of course have the shield at the same time, then it basically allows you to face tank the damage. Then finally we have the BFG 9000. This, I kind of don't need to say what it does because you can see it on screen. This one doesn't actually have any mods. This is basically just a super powerful weapon. Also kind of hard to use because you don't get that many bullets. The ammo for this drops pretty rarely, so it's one of those kind of things that you generally speaking want to save for when you really need it, because you're not going to be getting ammo for this as frequently as other weapons. But charge it up, this huge energy blast comes out, it creates a massive explosion, it deals a lot of damage, hence the infrequent ammo. So, that's it for the time being. That's a look at all the weapons that you will organically get simply by playing through the campaign, provided you obviously don't necessarily miss things or ignore objectives. Then, generally speaking, you will encounter those. There is, of course, an additional one, which we will showcase at a later date. But for the time being, those are all the weapons. Let me know in the comments down below which ones are your favourites. Let me know if you guys are looking forward to the game on Friday. And, of course, keep it locked for plenty more. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.